This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. We're here in Liverpool and I'm joined by trainer Buddy McGirt. Buddy, firstly, how are you? How are you finding Liverpool your second time around?
Hey man, listen, Liverpool's good, but I've been here a little too long, so I'm ready to go home.
But it seems to be an issue with you, Buddy. You can't wait to get home all of a sudden.
Yes. After a few weeks, you're ready to go home. You know what I mean? I love it. The people are great. They treated me great. I can't complain at all. But, you know, you still miss home.
Of course, and I understand what you're saying there. Obviously, your second camp with Callum Smith. Talk to me about how it's gone, the adjustments Callum's made, and how much more happier you are with trying to bring out certain attributes of it in him.
I mean, it's coming along great. You know, we're still in a, I don't want to say learning process, but getting adjusted process. Because he knows how to fight. You just got to make minor adjustments. Nothing major, because he's been doing it for so long.
Bauderlique, WBC final eliminator. What do you know about him?
Who's that?
Callum's opponent.
Nothing. Nothing. I believe that my personal opinion is that I let them worry about us. I'm not worried. I know what we have to do, and I know what we can and cannot do. So I'm not going to sit and study him, and study him, and study him. We've trained to make adjustments. We've trained for everything. So the key is to get in there, see what he gives you, and then boom, we make the adjustments from there. Because if you prepare for one thing, and he doesn't do it, then what do you do?
So on that note, what do you have to do to be successful on next Saturday night?
We got to do a little bit of everything. You know, we got to be smart, patient. You know, I mean, you know, I hear about the guy. You know what I mean, and everyone knows that he's going to try to box. You know what I mean, which is understandable. But the key is to make adjustments as the fight goes on.
We obviously saw a devastating knockout victory early into Callum's first fight, working with yourself on the first Usyk Joshua card back in September. Going into this one, are you confident that you'll maybe get a few more rounds out of Callum? Do you want more rounds?
Hey, listen, I don't care how we get the victory, as long as we get it. Whether it's early, in the middle, or late, I really don't care. The key is just to, you know, get the W. I mean, we are prepared to go, you know, 12 rounds. If need be, but you know, we're ready for whatever is brought to us.
I know obviously as you say the main thing is getting the W, but just from your own perspective as a coach, would you like just to get an extra few rounds just to kind of work on a few things with Callum?
No, I listen, if we can get him early, if we get lucky and get him early, cool. If not, if it goes 12 rounds, I'm cool with that also.
Are you just saying that so that you could get home earlier?
Hello? Maybe I can.
Obviously, provided Callum comes through on Saturday night, it lines up for the WBC titleist Arthur Beterbiev. Wait and see what's happening with him and Anthony Yarde. But on Beterbiev himself, what do you make of him as a potential future foe?
Right now, to be honest, I'm just focusing on the guy on the 20th. I'm not even looking ahead. I never put the cart before the horse. So let's get through this first, and then we're going to the next.
Is it difficult not to kind of look ahead, though, knowing that Callum is on the verge of becoming potentially a two-time world champion?
It's not difficult because in this game, anything can happen at any time, in any sport. So, you know, you never count your chickens before they hatch, as they say. So, you know, we just got to focus on the 20th, get through that, and then go on to the next phase.
One fight which has been ordered up at light heavyweight, I want to get your thoughts on, Buddy, is the mandatory challenge of Gilberto Ramirez against Dimitri Bivol. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think that it's going to be an interesting fight, but I think Bivol is a sleeper. I think a lot of people really underestimate that guy. He can fight, man. He can box. He's smart. He's patient. He showed a lot in the Canelo fight. Ramirez, a heck of a fighter. So it's going to be an interesting fight. But personally, I think that my opinion, I think that he should get the rematch with Canelo. I don't think Canelo, nobody wants to see Canelo Triple G. Who wants to see that? They fought twice, good fights, move on. You know what I mean? But hey, that's boxing, you know?
So what, coming into this trilogy bout, what do you expect to see between Canelo and Golovkin?
To be honest, I really don't care, to be honest with you. I mean, the first two fights were good. So, I mean, I really haven't put no thought into it, you know? I just looking forward to this fight on the 20th. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, hopefully, Spence and Crawford. I mean, that's the fight I'm looking to see, you know what I mean? But as far as a trilogy with Triple G and Canelo, not really. I mean, it's good for boxing, but me, myself, nah.
Is Spence Crawford, then, listening to you speak, the fight which you're most excited about potentially seeing outside of maybe Callum fighting for another world title or one of your other fighters challenging for some prestigious title?
It's a case where you have the best in the division fighting the best. You very rarely get that today. You know what I mean? That's why I gotta honestly say I give respect to Canelo for fighting Bivol, because nobody wanted to fight him. You know what I mean? And he gave him the opportunity. You know, so when you get the best fighting the best, I'll watch that all the time.
What do you make of the Spence Crawford fight?
It's going to be a great fight. That's all I'm going to say.
Come on, you got to give me a
I can't. It's going to be a great fight.
If we did see, going back to kind of Bivol and the Canelo fight, if we did see a rematch further down the line, how would you anticipate that one going? Would you expect a different showing from Canelo, a different result?
I expect a different showing. But if Bivol does what he does last time and adds a little more to it, we can get the same thing. He can, outpoint him. But I think Canelo will definitely take a different approach on that fight.
Just moving away from kind of Callum, guys around him, you've got Zizo, as you call him, fighting next weekend as well. Talk to me a little bit about him. What do you expect to see from him?
Well, I expect to see him, get the victory, of course. I expect a little nervousness because it's his first pro fight, and he's fighting in his, in his home, and he's going to feel a little bit of the pressure, even though he says he's not, but which is to be expected. But I expect a great performance and a victory.
Then obviously just moving forwards onto that main event, Usyk Joshua 2, Buddy. How does it play out?
Interesting fight. I am going to the first fight I watched from the dressing room because of COVID. This one I'm gonna sit way in the back and really analyze it. It's going to be a very interesting fight.
What do you actually anticipate seeing? Do you expect to see again just that different version of Anthony Joshua? People saying more of an aggressive version of Anthony Joshua.
I'm expecting to see round 13 on. The fight, the way that it ended, continuing, but just see if Joshua can make the adjustments from that point on.
I mean, you said round 13, it's an interesting point. I've seen a few people raise the argument of when Fury Wilder won in that final round, after Wilder knocked Fury down, Fury got back up and boxed very well for the rest of the fight, pushed him back, and he kind of used that as a blueprint for the second fight. Do you think in Alexander's case, he saw what he did in the final round against AJ as kind of a blueprint as to how to continue going into this rematch?
Oh, if it's not broke, you can't fix it. So they just add a little more to it. And I think it's going to be a very interesting fight. I think it's going to be a better fight than the first one.
What do you make of AJ's link up with Robert Garcia?
I think it's a good move for him. Robert Garcia is a very good trainer. I think it's a good move. We can give him a different look. You know what I mean? And the key is, Garcia he comes from a good boxing bloodline between his dad and his brother, the whole family. So I think it was a good move for Anthony Joshua.
What, from your knowledge and experience, will Robert be able to bring out of Anthony?
That pit bull. Bring that pit bull out of him. Garcia is good at that. He can get that pit bull out of you. You know what I mean? And send you out to war. So it's going to be interesting.
Sticking with the heavyweight division, a man you've previously worked with and know very well, Fury-Chisora, is in the frame for a trilogy bout of his own with Tyson Fury. Your thoughts on all of those reports and rumours?
I'm going to put it to you like this. Chisora, my man. I got nothing but love and respect for you. And I got your back 2,000%. So I hope you get it, my brother. Big man, I call him big man. I hope you get it, big man. And as you always say to me, you understand. I hope you get it, brother.
Tyson would be a big favourite heading into that fight if he was to be next. Are you happy to see Derek challenge Tyson? Do you think it could be any different to what we've seen before when they fought?
He can get a big fight like that, get as they say in England, a massive payday, and then ride off into the sunset.
A couple of fights ago, there was kind of question marks as to where Derek could go from here, and on the back of certainly Purewal, Deontay Wilder's name came up again, and people kind of don't want to see him fight somebody like Deontay Wilder because of the knockout power he possesses and how devastating he is. Would you be happy if at some point Derek shared the ring with Deontay?
I would rather see him fight Fury. It's a bigger fight. And then he can cash in, man, and, you know, he deserves it, man. I mean, listen, he brings excitement, you know, and that's what boxing needs. And, you know, after the fights with Joseph Parker, he was written off, but now he's right back, so you got to give it to him.
Final one before I let you go, we had a big British fight announced yesterday between Eubank Jr. and Jr-Benn. It's at a catch weight of 157, but what is your thoughts on it?
That, they both normally fight at 160 or
157.
No.
So previously, Jr-Benn fights at 147, so welterweight. Eubank Jr. fights at 160.
So okay, so I'm gonna go with Ben. He's the one that knocked out Chris Algieri, correct? Yeah. I'm going with Ben.
Can I ask as to why you believe?
I'm just going to leave it at that.
That's fair enough, buddy. I know you've got to shoot off as well now, so I appreciate you stopping to do this interview. Thank you for speaking to me in ID Boxing. Good luck in Saudi.
Thank you.